with another session or short clip of regarding immigration. My name is Maria De Luna, and most of you know me. Those who follow me sa Facebook, I do immigration live Q&A po sa Filipino portal every Tuesday. So now, my plan this 2019 is to provide short clips regarding immigration, anything related to immigration, and my plan is to do more contents geared. I'm going to do a short video on how to hire caregivers. No, a lot of people were actually asking me, actually last week, a lot of people were asking me, paano mag-apply ng caregiver? Bukas na po ba ang caregiver? Kasi may plano akong i-hire. So actually, the caregiver never closed. So I'm not sure where the confusion was, but it was never closed. And actually, back in November 30, 2014, the old live-in caregiver program was replaced by a new one, no? So, yung mga live-in caregiver na LMIA, it's now kind of like a regular LMIA, and tinanggal na ang mandatory live-in requirement, so you cannot make that a mandatory requirement anymore. Okay, it can be an option, yes, pero pag pinili nyo na live-in mandatory, most likely your application for an LMIA will be refused. Okay, so I'll be doing let's move on with how to hire an in-home caregiver. So in-home caregivers, they still go through as a temporary foreign worker. There's no difference there. They also apply for work permits. And when you're hiring, definitely you will have to go sa Service Canada website on the LMIA forms, right? So the website, definitely, I use Google. Google's my best friend. So I just type hiring caregivers LMIA. So you will be directed to Employment Social Development Services, the website. Okay, so as you can see here, you will go to a page where there's an overview about hiring a caregiver. Okay, so then dyan, how is a full-time basis? Full-time basis is 30 hours per week. That's the minimum. Okay, caregivers for children, pinaghiwalay na siya sa caregivers for people with high medical needs. Before the change, noong November 30, 2014, they fall under one live-in caregiver. Now, that has changed. They have separated the pathway. So, that's why mapapansin nyo, may ibang pathway for permanent residence for caregivers for children at ibang pathway naman for high medical needs. Okay? So, as you can see, children, caregivers for children will fall under the NUC code of 4411, okay, for caregivers. I usually don't call it live-in caregiver anymore. I call it either a childcare provider or an in-home caregiver, nanny, if you may. But if you use the live-in, sometimes it confuses the officer na ang gusto mo is mandatory live-in, and I've seen some people get refused because of that. So probably avoid that term when doing the application. Okay, and kung high medical needs naman or for elderlies, normally I see titles such as the home support worker, personal care attendant, right? They do have a different wage rate, okay, than a caregiver for children. Okay, so that's also one of the differences from the old program to the current one. The old program, kung may i-hire ka for your elderly, sometimes it has the same wage rate as for children. Okay, not anymore for the current one. Okay, so requirements. Also take note na the processing fee of 1,000 per LMIA, there is an exemption to it. Okay, families na mag-hire for their children up till 13 under 13 years old. Okay, so up till 12 years old, they are waived or they are exempted from the processing fee if ang gross annual income ng family is 150,000 Canadian or less. Okay, so hindi lang sa mga child care below 13 years old. You will also be exempted if you provide home care for individuals requiring assistance with medical needs. Okay? So yun. So just read through this. Okay? There's also an education, training, and experience requirement. Okay? Please refrain from putting in education ang required nyo is bachelor's degree. If caregiver lang ang kukunin nyo, low-skilled position, please do not use the education for bachelor when posting advertisement. Okay? Wages, working conditions, occupations. Understand na kailangan mag-post kayo ng advertising when hiring caregiver with dealing with LMIA. Please note na bawat province, bawat geographical area will have a different wage rates. Okay? And how do you find wage rates? I will show you that. Okay? So usually we go to job bank. Okay? So it's www.jobbank.gc.ca. Okay? Okay? And then you find wages. Okay? You type in the occupation that you want to find. So in-home caregiver. Okay. Find that. So there you go. These will be the wages across Canada. Okay? Para maging compliant ang advertising ninyo for LMIA caregiver, you must choose the median wage rate and post advertisement for median wage rate. Okay? So for example, in Hamilton, if you see NA there, NA, you follow the whole province. In Alberta, it's a bit higher. In our area in Calgary, it's $15 per hour. Okay, so on and so forth. So that's how you find out the wage rate na kailangan yung ibigay. So have an income that could sustain the income ng caregiver ninyo. Okay, so since I'm already talking about advertising, okay, please take note na ang advertising may mga requirements yan. So because caregivers fall under the low wage position, then you must actually follow the rules for the posting ng ads for low wage positions. Okay, so nandiyan ang job bank would be posting it in underrepresented groups. Okay, so nandiyan lahat yan. Okay, so let's go back before I forget. Okay? So, isa ding kailangan gawin when thinking of hiring a caregiver is to actually check if you meet the requirements sa income. Okay? And you can actually check that by checking the form. Okay? So, let's download that form muna. One moment, the form is loading. Okay, so as you can see, let's make this bigger. This is the form for the LMIA. So you go to, dito kino-compute ang financial ability ng isang employer. Okay, so usually you put in your income, combined income if you may. So sabihin natin I have 60,000 income and then my husband has 60,000 income. Okay, I add box 1 and 2. So I have 120,000 income. Okay, now enter the LICO figure that applies to the first employer household. Okay, meaning kung ilang tao ang nasa bahay ko. So this is a clickable link. Huwag kayong matakot. Click that so you'll be able to find what's applicable to your situation. Okay? So for example, I have 2 kids. So ako, my husband, plus my 2 kids. So you will have to check kung ano ang community size ninyo. Most likely, if you're in the metropolitan area, you'll be on this side, 39,926. Okay, so let's use that, 39,926. Okay, for example, my income is 60,000. My husband's income is 60,000. So our combined income is 120,000. Okay. House, let's put that as 0. Okay. So enter the total annual wage rate to be paid sa foreign worker. So yung nakita nyong wage rate kanina na binigay ko, right? That's going to be your threshold kung paano mag-compute. So sabi ko nga sa amin 15 per hour, right? Sa Calgary. So I put in $15 per hour and then sabihin nating 40 hours per week siya magtatrabaho, right? Let's put it at 40 hours per week. You can actually put 35 hours if you want, or 30 hours, because sa nakita nyo kanina, full-time, the minimum is 30 hours per week, right? So sabihin natin yung $15 per hour dito sa Calgary, and then times I'm giving her or my caregiver 40 hours per week. Caregiver in Calgary is 31,200. Okay? So yon. So and so on and so forth. So makita mo, add boxes 4, 5, 6 to your annual combined. Okay? Dito sa box number 3. Okay? So because the amount shows na I have enough money, so because the amount shows I have enough money to pay for a caregiver, then that means I have the financial ability to pay for a caregiver. So therefore, pwede ako mag-hire ng caregiver. Okay? Hindi lang sa annual income tinitingnan, okay? You can actually add more information or funds sa amount. Say for example, you have RRSP, TFSA that you can readily touch, okay? That you can readily touch, na not necessarily nasa CRA. It can be, in your bank account. You can add that to that, okay? Click yes and put the information, okay? So that's how it works. Advertising, make sure it's for at least 30 days, okay? So there's forms, make sure you have all these forms, okay? As you can see, it's all here, okay? Next up, once that's done, you submit it to the proper Service Canada Center, and then from there, right now it's about 6-8 weeks to process. For caregivers, it's submitted in Ontario, and then once you have that approval, they'll give that LMIA to you by mail, most likely. Tapos pwede na kayong mag-hire ng caregiver. Please take note though, now when posting advertisement, Service Canada wants to see sa advertisement ninyo that the experience you're looking for is at least 1 year to less than 2 years. Okay? So that's it. Again, if Google is your best friend, you type in LMIA caregiver application. Make sure that the link that you choose is the one that says canada.ca, and you'll be able to be directed to the proper application forms, sets of application forms, I should say. Okay? Summary, you want to summarize program requirements. Language, usually sa atin walang problema, you could just indicate English, and that's what you're requiring. Okay? Education, training, and experience. Again, for education, if you're hiring for caregiver, please don't put on your ads that you're requiring a bachelor's degree. Okay? Secondary or high school equivalent should be fine. But if you're hiring the professional levels such as LPNs, psychiatric nurses, then yeah, you can ask for a university degree. Okay, a different clip, a short clip again regarding application for PR dito sa dalawang pathway, because like I said, as of December 2014, because they changed that November 30, 2014, there's now 2 pathways for caregivers, children, and the people with high medical needs, caring for both of them. Okay, thank you very much, and see you again.